right, so we're here to talk about Mayans, and I'd like to start by introducing the people who you guys actually came here to see, not me. Gonna start with Easy himself, JD Pardo. And then we can't have Easy without his brother Angel, Clayton Cardenas. Next up, we've got Sarah Bolger, plays Emily Galindo. And then we got the villain everybody's gonna love to hate in season 5, J.R. Bourne.
Did it on purpose, guys.
And last but certainly not least, probably the reason why Mayans exists, we got Emilio Rivera, aka Marcus Alvarez. I feel like it's only good to start with the last person I invited on the stage here, Emilio Rivera. You've, as you know, everybody here knows, you started on Sons many years ago. You carried the Mayans flag for all that time. Then the show gets announced as a spinoff. 5 years ago, you guys came to Austin to promote it, and here we are, we're ending it. So what has that been like for you to see this huge journey in your life come to an end?
You know, to get 7 seasons on any show is you know, it don't really happen all the time, and for me to get 5 more after that is such a beautiful thing, you know. I've been very proud to represent this patch for 15 years. What I would do is I would go when people, I know people were, it would be their last day, I would go visit them, and I was kind of being selfish because at the same time it was chipping away at my heart that it was going to be over, you know. But, it was beautiful, man.
I'm gonna follow that up with a question I hope that doesn't make you emotional here. Marcus is in a different place in season 5. For years you've been kind of the head of this big, huge group, the Mayans, and you effectively got kicked out. So what's it been like playing this domestic Marcus?
You know, I had talked to Algin about that, and I told him, you know what if I just get all sucked up and I'm depressed, you know? And then I found out it's just easier to eat more and get heavy, you know what I'm saying? So I'm drinking a lot of beer right now. I'm smoking cigarettes, man. So you're gonna see a different guy. But you know, it gets worse, you know. It gets worse, you know. I mean, I'm depressed. I mean, Easy kicked me out of the club, man. Something I started 40 years ago, you know. So it's depressing.
So yeah, let's now go to Easy himself, JD here. You, for 4 years, you played a guy who was kind of the smartest guy in the room. At one point, he had a magic memory. What's it like now to be the guy who's leading the Mayans, and you don't seem to, at least what we've seen of season 5, have it all together yet?
Well, I think you know, the reason why we don't have it all together is because someone burned the warehouse. It was a great plan, and we were on top, and then somebody sabotaged it. So, but no, I think that, you know, it's what Easy, you know, a lot of people were hitting me up about the scene with Easy and Marcus, where Easy comes to visit him, and they're like, was Easy asking for help? Was Easy? I think it's very clear between the two men of why Easy, you know, kicked Marcus out, and it was because there was war.
Yeah.
War was going to happen. And you can't go into war 1 foot in and 1 foot out. It was going to take sacrifice, and it was something that that you know, we felt we had to go all in for. So I think that Easy finds himself in a place where, yeah, everything's falling apart. They're losing this war, and Easy wanted a moment to just be with somebody who understands that feeling, which is why he went to go see Marcus. And there is a mutual respect between the two. You know, they both know what happened, and Easy doesn't like how it happened. And even at the end, you know, Marcus is like, I love you, but you come here again, I'm gonna kill you. So I think it's a very honest moment between the two, and Easy's really trying to figure it out.
Yeah. Speaking of 1 foot in, 1 foot out, I got to talk to Clayton about Angel. Since becoming a dad, we've seen this new side of Angel where he definitely doesn't feel the same excitement for being in the Mayans anymore, for lack of a better term. So what's it been like to explore this new, softer side of Angel?
Well, it's really interesting. We kind of entertained this idea, Elgin and myself, last season, even a tad bit during season 2. But season 3, he asked, like, where do you see this character going? How would you like to see it? And I told him, just based off personal experience, I was like, I would like to see this character possibly leave this club, this thing that he held in such high regard, for a honest reason. And now this honest reason that Elgin had brought into the fold was, his son and his new immediate family. So being able to play that side, it's very personal because I understand it. It's something I had experienced in my own upbringing, in my own life. So to be able to put it on screen has been something that's been kind of twofold because I have, audiences, the audience right now that's consuming this art, loving the side of Angel, but also personally in my life, I have my friends being like, hey man, this is actually, you actually did this. This was actually you transitioning. So it was cool. It's kind of come full circle for me. So that's like personal side of it. But, as far as like me personally portraying this character on film, that's been so cool because it's so cool to see a person that you would assume to be just so full on till the death about this club, and then something happens in their life, and like now it's like, okay, I need to take a step back from all of this. What's really important? What is really going to serve this future? Is it me like fulfilling my own selfish needs, or is it like me looking out for my family now? So it's been fun to be a part of, and I'm looking forward for the audience to see where it ends up.
There's a moment in the clip we just watched where Easy says to Angel, "Do you trust me?" What do you think about that, Clay? I almost called you Angel.
Yeah.
Clayton, what do you think about that? Does he actually trust Easy anymore?
No, I think that's a great question, Charles. I think the real love story.
No, you don't.
Well,
Just say it.
Let me say this. I think
We all know. The whole audience is going like, yeah.
the real love story is this brotherhood, and I think these are the questions. These kind of chinks in this armor now. This love that's so pure. I don't think he does trust him anymore. The loyalty is questioned now. The loyalty. I see this guy leading us into freaking bloodshed. So it's like, do I let him lead me and myself and the rest of my brothers down this road, or do I take a step back and say something to him? So when you're seeing these clips, it's like these are two brothers questioning each other's logic in a sense. The logic is crazy.
Yeah, just to add to that, what I think is so cool about the relationship between the brothers is that, Easy's a survivor, right? And a lot of how he's focusing on with this war and running the club is a lot with what happened with prison and his experience in it. It's not about morals. It's not about right or wrong. It's about winning. And it's at all costs. So in that sense, yeah, we could be losing the war. The brothers in the club can lose their faith, whatever it is. But Easy still, looks at it as if he just needs one moment. If there's one moment that he can seize, then he could take it on top. And I think that that's where the trust issue is because Easy would never hurt his brother, but Easy's not thinking about that. And everyone else is just seeing, people drop and the fact that like, wow, it looks bad. It looks like we're all gonna die.
It definitely looks like that. But that would make for a boring show, right? Emily, I want to. Oh, geez, oh Pete, I'm calling names here.
Oh no, I
Sarah.
respond to anything these days. Like
Well-
you can call me anything, and I'll be like, yeah.
It's extra confusing because in the series you went by Sarah for a little bit too. So
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
Well, actually, only for that snippet.
Yeah.
Only for what was season 3,
yeah. So
4.
I want to.
Season 4.
Yeah, it was when you were
On my
dyeing your hair.
on my
it was all
bus
messy.
trip around
Yeah.
around America.
But let's talk about where Emily Galindo is right now. She is doing what it takes to save her son, basically, and
Yes.
herself, obviously. But
Yeah.
and this is a show filled with a bunch of macho biker guys, and you are this a woman in this show, but you're showing your strength in a different way. You're not shooting guns. You're not beating people up. You're protecting your family. You're the protector. So what's it been like in a show filled with all this action and talk of war to have kind of this like internal battle with where you're at?
Well, I think you've seen Emily go through these phases of like being part of the cartel and wanting to like get a little dirty, I guess, like maybe giving in to the ease that is criminal activity. And you see snippets of that, especially in season 2. And then she's on the run, and you see her go again do these things that criminals do, like change her ID, change her name, check around her, behind her at all times. Is her child okay? A hideaway house, the kid's in a different state, like all these things that criminals do. And I think at a certain point, like through osmosis or otherwise, this year there's an element of Emily giving into so much, but also sort of seemingly giving in to Mr. Galindo and allowing him back into her life, because that's the best way she can see moving forward to protect her child. And I know so much of the show is about family and is about the next generation, but I think this beautiful theme of the show is also realizing that this lifestyle is not sustainable, and that to live and to thrive and to love and to exist, you need to leave. And it's about, I feel like it's definitely, this year is about Emily needing to leave.
So I want to pass it over to JR here. In that clip we saw, there's a moment where Isaac says, presumably to Easy, do you want to have some fun? And this is like a super tense scene. And Isaac is, to me, the scariest type of villain, because he's not just doing horrible, horrific things, he's loving every second of it. So what's that been like as an actor to do these horrible things, but then to just have this smile on your face?
Well, I never did any of them thinking they were horrible at the time. Listening to all of these guys talk, and I think we haven't had the time to see the extensive backstory of Isaac, but I am more drawn to the similarities between all of these characters. Isaac has just, for whatever history he has in the sort of world of, and what this, I think a big theme is the consequences of violence, what that is for him. We were talking about that, Charles, what that is for Isaac. But so it's fun because there isn't as much on the line maybe for him. He just doesn't, it's not that he has a death wish. He's also just okay if that's how it winds up. And I think this is just a game is a very sort of, hi guys. A game is just it's an easy word to say that it's just playful and there's no thought behind it. But there is something about pushing everybody to the things that they're all talking about. What is more important to you? Is it family? Is it the prick of a finger and brotherhood? And how do you survive without these things? And I don't think Isaac has them. He creates them. I think Meth Mountain was that for him. That was his family. But there's just it allows for a freedom. You know what I mean? There's more space in his brain if there isn't everything else attached for Easy and Angel. That was a weird way to say your name. How can you mess up 2 letters? Easy. There isn't as much invested for Isaac. You know what I mean? The attachment, what Emily has, and even Alvarez. For him, it's just let's push the limits here and see what everybody figures out.
But
It's just a
he's
Tuesday.
doing such beautiful, dark work. I just want to get on a motorcycle and run him over, bro. You know what I'm talking about? Because I love to watch him, but he's doing so good, bro. You're doing so good, man.
Appreciate that.
So good.
And for JD, I was going to throw this to you. What's that like, do you think, for Easy, who's so meticulous, so detail-oriented, to go against somebody who is just so chaotic?
Well, we would talk about this, JR and I, about how, in a way, they are mirrors of each other. Easy has a code. Whether or not it was built from prison or whatever, it's a code. And Isaac doesn't have a code, but they're both chaotic in what they're doing. They're both unorthodox or out of the box, so to see them clash, and whenever I would do scenes with JR, I felt like there were moments where I was like, oh my gosh, this is me. I'm acting with me. right now. I might have to be a little bit more restrained because that's the character and that's also the position of the show. But it was fascinating for me to watch him do his thing and then have to face that. And then it just really became like a dance because we really are very similar in an odd way.
You're absolutely right. Let's
Odd and perfect at the same time.
let's take a moment here. I want to show a clip from the upcoming episode, which, if anybody here doesn't already know, this man directed episode 4. So I gotta ask you, as we mentioned, you directed this episode. It's the first time you've made your directorial debut here. Was that always in the cards for you? Something you were looking forward to, or did something about Mayans give you that creative spark?
No, I always, it was always there, you know. As a kid, just watching movies and just being just a fan of going to the movie theaters and watching these different types of movies. I love storytelling, you know, and even when I'm on set or I'm always with the camera department. I'm always talking about their lenses. I'm always interested in the frame. And I couldn't really understand why, but that was just where my heart has always been. And then it was around the 3rd season where I was doing this scene on the beach with Gabby, and we're setting it up, and I'm there again with the camera, and Elgin comes over to me. He's like, "Hey, do you want to direct?" And I was like, yeah, I do. And he's like, "Well, you'll direct next season." And I was like, "Wow, okay." I mean, I haven't even directed a home video, so thanks to trust me with that kind of budget. But then I told him, I was like, "Well, since you brought it up, I won't direct next season. I'll direct an episode in 5, so that this way, now that I know that it's on the table, I'll really do the work."
So you mentioned Elgin. I've spoken with members of the cast and talked about how collaborative it is with him, and I have to assume, you know, that is an honest conversation that you had where he offered that to you. Before that, had you had never expressed to him that this was something you were interested in, or he just saw it in you?
I think he just saw it in me because I immediately, when he said that, I just started laughing because it was as if like just this moment presented itself where it's always been in my heart, but I wasn't vocalizing it too much. I probably had a plan in my head that I would have to write something at some point and then direct it and send it to film festivals and go that route. But for him to just say that, I was like, "Man, how are you in my soul right now? Because you're bringing this up." And yeah, so it's always been there, and I think he saw that, and it just really enabled me to dive into an understanding of why I love what I do.
So I want to pose this to the rest of the panel here. You're in a safe space. Was he terrible, or was it good?
The worst.
Wait, may I add, myself and JD very, very early on, like pilot 1, went and grabbed like coffee, like where we went grabbed a beer to get to know each other, like to create backstory. I remember chatting to him then, and I was like, "I know you produced and you acted. Would you ever direct?" He's like, "I'd love to direct." And it was like a real like gut, like I would, like that is a dream. So when I heard it, that he got to direct 5, like I was so elated. Like, first of all, he's so prepared on set, so the idea that he had to come in even more prepared to be a director seemed like the biggest task in the world. But he handled it like someone who's been doing it for decades, and we were all so damn proud of you.
No, he was phenomenal. I mean, as much as I like making fun of him, how horrible he is. I mean, if you get to work with JD and experience him, I think anybody who spends a lot of time with him, you see this was probably the next chapter of his life, his directing. And I think the advantage that he has, opposed to other directors that aren't actors, is he already knows the dialogue. He already knows how to speak actor talk, you know? So that's half the battle when you're working with a new director, is trying to figure out what they mean, what are they trying, what is the message they're trying to get across. Like, that's half the battle when you're having a new director in TV. So JD has the advantage of already, look, do this, be this, and automatically, personally, I know what he's saying. I know what he means. So that was fun. I mean, this dude, he's amazing. He's been an amazing castmate. And so I'm happy to see him in this next venture in his career.
Oh, thanks, man.
And unfortunately, I wasn't able to work with him as him being a director, but since I've worked with JD for the past 5 seasons, he's always been an actor's actor, you know, in the sense that sometimes I would get stuck on some dialogue, and I would ask him, you know, as a director, but as an actor, and he would give me a different point of view, which is beautiful. And I remember one time it was just a simple word. I go, bro, it's me and mine. Can I say me and mines? And he goes, bro, that sounds kind of ghetto, you know. And I said, well, I'm ghetto, bro. You know what I'm talking about? You know, but he's always been a guy that I could always go to and ask him a question. What do you think about this, bro? How about this? And he was always there to help, man. So I know he's not only an actor's actor, but an actor's director, you dig?
Yeah, that's great. So I want to talk. We're fast approaching the end of this series, sadly, but you know, I want to talk with you guys about what that means for you. So, Clayton, you, like we said, Angel's gone through such a transformation over the 5 seasons, and me and you, we had an interview during season 4, and I asked you, do you think that a happy ending is in the cards for Angel? And you said the only happy ending would be if he survives. So I'm curious now that you know, you don't have to tell me what happens, but do you still feel like happy endings just aren't on the table for a lot of these people?
I don't think in this world, I don't think happy ending is the inevitable for a majority of it. I think, you know, it is what it is if you're familiar with these type of characters in this world. But specifically for Angel, I think an happy ending was just to see his son set up. See his son safe, see his son secure, regardless if Angel makes it through to the end or not, we don't know. But I think in his eyes, it's like, as long as his baby mama, Adelita, is okay, and his son is okay, I think that's a win for him. That's a great ending. That's the last chapter in his book. Again, he might be willing to sacrifice his life. We'll see what happens.
JR?
Yes.
I got to ask you. I always find this fascinating when I talk to actors who play the villains of stories, especially with fandom being what it is. A lot of the people in this crowd and just people in your everyday life that walk by you are going to know you as Isaac. Are you ready for people to yell at you and be like, screw you, Isaac, in the streets?
Yeah. They've been yelling at me since I was a kid, so it's not going to be anything new. I think I said this to you as well. I've never been more excited about being so hated, because the whole show is so great. It's so authentic, and so, yeah, man. I mean, looking back I don't know that I don't hate him as well. Not playing him at all. And I think I also said I had more empathy for Isaac in 5th season than I did in 3rd, for some strange reason. But yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. Should we try a group, How Much You Hate Me Right Now? Does everybody scream it?
And Sarah, I want to talk about, again, it's a unique thing being a female in this cast, but also I know in speaking with Elgin over the years that he's made a concerted effort to make sure that there's female representation behind the camera as well, with the director of photography, the writers' room especially. What do you have any memories of working with the female crew that you'd like to share, over the course of this?
I mean, first of all, Vanessa Joy Smith is one of the most talented directors of photography I've ever experienced. I mean, she's actually been with us from the beginning, but got elevated into her position in season 2. Season 2, and I swear to God, like her and Elgin also like speak one mind, and it's this like amazing.
Sorry.
3?
I don't want to correct you guys.
She's been there though.
We do this a lot.
But I really appreciate, like, even Elgin, like, he takes his time to, like, he shows me like paintings, like a Caravaggio, and he'll show me like this woman in the forefront and the power she has, or the posture and the essence, and he'd be like, create that. So it's even like from history, these beautiful portraits of women, he like brings into the fold, like brings into the essence of the show. And I find that like so impressive and so thoughtful and so creative. And like as a woman like myself and Carla and like all the women of our show are just so superior beings and actors. And myself and Carla had dinner right at the end, and we're just like, now this is not we live, but we made it. Like we made it. We got to do the 5 years of this show. In any other world, on any other maybe version of Mayans, we may have been killed off in season 2. It's just amazing and it's powerful, and I'm like forever grateful to be a woman on Mayans MC.
You mentioned Elgin and his collaborative nature. I want to talk to JD for a second, because when I spoke to Elgin last time, he had told me that in preparation for the show, when you guys are thinking of the grand story of a season, a lot of times you and him are on the phone like every day, planning it out. I assume that's a rare thing as an actor to have that sort of collaboration with the showrunner, creator, writer, producer. So what has that been like, and are you spoiled now?
Yeah, it's not normal, right? And that's just who Elgin is. Elgin is a collaborator, and that's also, when I was directing the episode, it was just like, you have masters all around you. Why wouldn't you use them? Why wouldn't you hear their voice? At the end, I get to make the decision. But in the same way, at the end, Elgin makes the decision. But to bring everybody in, to hear their opinion, to hear how they feel, it's a great thing. And all it's done for me, there are a couple of times where, like when I was doing Terminalist, I would see something being done, and I'm like, hey, and then I would stop myself, and I'd be like, yeah, I'm not on Mayans, and I'm just here to do this role. But you do get a little spoiled by it, but at the same time, it's informed me. It's possessed me in a way of like, I'm always talking with my manager of like, okay, now I really got to write something, direct it, produce it, and send it to the film festival. Because now it's like I touched it, and I was involved. In the room creatively. With the studio, the business side of it. So it's like, it's also fascinating to me. And Mayans changed my life in so many ways. And it's also, it's given me the fuel to continue further.
So I want to throw this to Emilio again. I feel like I'm going to hit you with the hard question again. I'm sorry, but
You're gonna make me cry again, yeah. We came to the set and did an interview, and I couldn't stop crying. So I told you, don't make me cry today, brother.
So like I said, you're the OG Mayan. You're the quote unquote reason this exists. So now that it's coming to an end, is there something where a legacy that Marcus Alvarez or the Mayans as a group that you would like to see remembered by people, as we presume this is the end of the road?
I just want to see, as far as just people in life, I had to do what I had to do to get where I was at as a leader on the Mayans, but that you got to change, man. You dig what I'm saying? I couldn't continue killing people. I killed my son on the show early on in Sons of Anarchy. And I see that all it did, violence just created more violence. You dig what I'm saying? Where Easy's head is at right now. And at the end of the day, man, it's just family. Whether that's your family or your family at home, but that's where the heart is at. You dig what I'm saying? So just take home family, man.
Yeah,
At
that's
the
good.
end of the day, I can't say much about anything, but it's family.
You can spoil stuff. We're okay.
Hey, Gino Vento, hey, did you get your patch yet, bro? Okay, still prospect, huh? If I would have been there, bro, I would have give you a patch, homie.
For those that don't know, Nestor, played by Gino, is back there, and he's sitting in.
Oh, but I gotta say this, bro. I gotta say this, because when we started Sons of Anarchy, I started actually as a Sons of Anarchy, as a son of I played Hawk, and then I get the call that they saw the pilot, it didn't work out, so they fired me from Sons of Anarchy, but they offered me Marcus Alvarez, and I turned it down. And it was all because negotiations. I turned it down, and my wife was like, "Babe, take it." And I said, "No, it's whatever." And then so we went back and we negotiated again, and we turned it down again. And I turned it down for the third time, and then my wife said, babe, forget about the money, just show them what the fuck you can do, you know? And I'm glad I did, you know what I'm talking about? And here we are 15 years later, you know what I mean? So go out there and show them what the fuck you can do, you know what I'm saying?
So we got one more clip to show you guys. This one's a really fun one from episode 5. So take a look. JR, what's it like watching that and hearing people laugh when they're, you know, it's kind of awkward and weird?
Was it awkward?
I mean, ultimately, we're laughing at some pretty
Yeah.
terrible stuff. But it is, I mean, it speaks to your acting ability. You love to hate Isaac.
You know, JD was just like literally, it was so fucking powerful, the stillness. And they say within our craft, you know, the trick, stillness is powerful. It really is. It's a scary thing to do in regular life, to just, you know, sit and feel like you're interesting. And that really kind of encompassed, you know, everything about you and as an actor and an artist, just the utter stillness and the power that was there, and enjoying that intimidation that Isaac felt, but not showing it. Do you know what I mean? And that's fun for Isaac. It's not that he is delusional. There's no way Isaac's going to put himself in a fist fight against Easy. So he's not an idiot. So it's enjoyable to watch, and it's enjoyable to hear the reaction. And again, it goes back to your earlier question. I hope you despise him. I hope you hate him. I hope if you meet Isaac in a busy, you know, subway, still run. Don't wait for the dark alley.
So now I'd like to open it up to you guys. If anybody has any questions, we'd love to hear them.
Don't be shy.
There's one right down there.
I want to talk about the way Easy has gone to dark and Angel has gone to light.
Yeah, that's they've definitely really changed in that sense. You know, what I love about Easy is his full commitment to something. He's either all in or he's not. And from the beginning, he's always said whatever the club needs. And I think that what we're really finding out this season is that that's not a lie. You know, is it scary to be in this war? But, you know, Easy is not interested in being a footstool to the Suns. He's not interested in being a club that's like, you know, fighting for the scraps anymore. He wants to put everybody on top. And the funny thing about Easy is that, the way I look at it, is that he knows the consequences coming. He knows the price is coming, which is what I think about when I see that poster, which they did an amazing poster this season with the skeleton, and it's like, for Easy, it's a race against time. Can I finish this? And in that, you get to see the shift with Angel, and I'll let Clay talk. But yeah, there's such beauty in that, right? It's like seeing the shift between the brothers, and it almost before it was all balanced and the world was nice, and then now it's just flipped on top of its head, and you just don't know what to expect.
Well said. I think, you know, in the origin of the story, you see one brother who's Angel. He's all about the club, and he's trying to help his brother assimilate into this world. And like JD said, I feel like his character he knew exactly what he wanted and where he was heading. And I think at the moment, Angel did too. But as life happens, as we all know, you know, things happen. And now Angel has this baby in his life and this love of his life. And what he once thought to be is not the truth anymore, you know, and that's humanity. Things happen, we change, we evolve. So it's interesting for myself to be so gung-ho about being so pro-club in the beginning of the story. Now it's like, I feel like I need to step away from this club. I feel like for the betterment of myself and my family, I need to serve what's really important in my life. And it's no longer the club. It's my son and my baby mother.
Does anybody else have a question? Real quick before we get to the question, Maverick. I heard that, I think
Dude.
Elgin told me that he is the best actor out of
Best
everybody.
star of the show. I don't know why he's not here. Where's No, you know what's interesting is working with a baby, or this is my first time. Is there's no directing a baby, guys, right? So there's no like we need you to hit your mark. So all of shooting and all the acting has to happen around him. So that was an interesting.
Did that
shift.
bother you?
No, you know
Did it
what?
really
Like
bother
at
you?
first I was like,
Yeah, you can be honest.
this damn
Really,
baby, man,
thank
just
you.
hit your mark, baby. God damn it. No, but it's cool because it taught me a lot about being patient. And, it's actually crafting around this entity, which is a whole different art form, which is so cool. But I feel like it's helped expand me. It honestly, it made me more patient. And yeah, I'm ready for babies now.
Kids will do
I'm
that.
saying that.
Your question.
Get it back. For JD, how much, if any, did you pull from Charlie and Jax? Is that something that you did or didn't do on purpose, or did you want to kind of find your own voice and character? I mean, it's just because he was such a powerful presence too.
No, absolutely, and what a great question. I did use Charlie and Jax, and the way I looked at it was, I'm not going to do that. I think Charlie's a phenomenal actor. I think Jax is a legendary character, and for that reason alone, I did not want to touch it, because then I'm just a karaoke version of Jax, or we're just a karaoke version of Sons. And I always said, like, karaoke's fun, but it's not, it's not the original, right? And you weren't going to beat that. So then I really invested myself in what made us different, which was Jax was the Prince of Charming. He was born into a club, and the prince gets the girls and gets all the things that come with that position. And Easy was a self-made man living in regret, who had his life completely changed. And then I focused on, coming out of prison and not being able to get a job. What do you do with your life when you've spent that much time inside? And then that's where Easy gets introduced to the club. And so I really used it as something that I wanted to make sure that I would stay away from. And as frightening as it is, because you want to say like, oh, that's been done before, let me play it safe. I really wanted to just jump off that cliff and find my own voice. And I said, if I'm going to even be, if this is going to be like considered a good show or something that people want to tune into, it's going to have to be different. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
As we prepare the other question, I want to, similar to what JR is going to go through with being yelled at for being Isaac, you are going to be linked to EZ in the same way that Charlie Hunnam is linked to Jax even to this day. Have you, does that intimidate you at all, or are you kind of ready to embrace it?
No, I'm ready to embrace it. I think that, it's so easy to get caught up in stuff like that, right? Especially when it really makes your career in a way. And I just really, and I felt like there was this moment where I was like, oh my gosh, is this what I do? Is this it? But then as I've jumped on Terminal List or Roadhouse, which is coming out, it's more of like, I'm reminded in those moments like, oh, I'm an artist, and it's fun that everyone's going to recognize me as Easy, but that's also a challenge for me, because I feel like as actors, we're magicians in a way. We have to convince the audience that what they're watching is real. When you come to a set, you could see how it's not. We're playing these characters, or we have people on standby, and the camera's set up a certain way, or they're going to add CGI to create a fire. So we have to create all of that. And so for me, when I look at life after Mayans, I'm like, can I fool the audience again? That's where I get excited.
This is. I just want to reiterate the points that the young woman said, but Emilio, I want you to know that you are an inspiration to those of us who have dealt with gang life and things like that, and you've spoken so much about how acting saved your life, and you inspire people to find a way out. You really do, and I want you to know that. And
Thank you so much. And you know what? I was listening to an acting coach the other day. One of them actually my first acting coach ever. I hadn't seen him in about 20 years, and he said, "Don't use acting as therapy." And I disagreed with that because it's still therapy for me. You dig what I'm saying? So yeah, it's my therapy, man. I love it, man.
well, speaking to that, as we approach and Marcus is separated from what he's always known, did you draw on your experience? Did that come out for you, and was it hard to revisit
Marcus
that part?
Alvarez is Emilio Rivera just with a patch. You dig what I'm saying? So it was one of the easiest characters I ever had to play because I could draw for so many things besides killing my own son, you know. But I got through a lot of stuff playing Marcus Alvarez, you know, and I got other stuff coming. I mean, it's just like I've lived life, you know what I mean? I really have. So I got so much to draw from different places, and but it's really been, it's changed my, like it changed Easy's life, JD's life. It changed my life, you know. It really did.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, I have a question for Emilio. I loved you on Venom, and also, did you have fun making that 50 Cent video?
I didn't know who 50 Cent was. And I got a call, and they said 50 Cent wants you in this video. So I go, I don't know who he is. And at the time, my kids were listening to that music. They go, Dad, and they start hearing the music. And I was still okay, you know. And then, but you know what? He was an amazing guy. He took care of me. It was a great time. And you know what? I turned down so many things, brother. But my wife's always, do it. You know what I'm saying? So, and but I was glad I did it, you know. And Venom, you know, they called me for that, and they said they want you to go read. And I go, what is it? And I said, well, just make an offer, bro. I mean, I could play a security guard, damn, you know. And they kept on going. They go on. I go, no, I'll pass. And I pass. And I go, they want to see you. And I go, who's the scene with? They go, Tom Hardy. And I go, I'll go read. Because I'm a big fan of Tom Hardy. And before I left the office, I was already hired. So it was just a formality, you know. So it was beautiful. Thank you, brother. Thank you.
My question is to Emily. Do you regret being with Galindo and not pursuing with JD? I mean, I'm sorry, Easy.
You know what? The thing is, I think the Emily Easy thing is almost the Shakespearean part of the Galindo story, is that star-crossed lovers. And like, interestingly, and I know I'm kind of like pushing it here in terms of drawing conclusions, but in terms of like life, they've sort of lived a similar life in the sense that they both started with the intention of good, of college, of real life, of not this world. Like, this world was the last thing on their brains. So the idea that they both sort of had to dive deep into this different part of themselves that they never thought they'd be, that they looked in the mirror and didn't recognize themselves. But I think there was something, I think her relationship with Galindo, for better or for worse, gave her Cristobal, and that is the best thing that's ever happened to her. So in that sense, I don't think Emily can ever regret that move, because without that, there is no child. And her child is the reason she is on screen fighting to her death every single time. You know, that woman's been drugged by her husband. She's been through the ringer. Her child's been kidnapped. Yeah, it's been a ride.
My husband always said, "You're watching your show again?" I was like, "Yes, I'm gonna binge watch it till it starts all over again."
I love that. Have you binge watched us before? We just premiered?
I've watched from season 1 all the way to now, and he told me about y'all being out here. And so I had to work extra hours just to come and make it out here.
Wait, what's your name?
Yvette.
Thank you so much. That means the world to us.
I'm such a fan of y'all. And yeah, I have you know, for you, what you did to Coco, no. But I still love your acting. You know, it's nothing against you. It's just a character. And he always says, you always find the one just to dislike. And I go, yes, I do. I was like, it's him. I was like, not my Coco. But
Y'all
yes,
ain't seen
I love
nothing
him.
yet.
Yeah, if there's something happens to you, yes, there's going to be a problem.
All right, I think we have to wrap up now, but I want to thank JD, Clay, Sarah, JR, and Emilio, stars of Mayans.